United States, Chicago. When a homeless black boy risks everything to save a toddler from danger, he does more than just save a life. He changes his own in a way he never could have imagined. Malik Carter, a 7-year-old boy, has lived a life of hardship in the streets of Chicago, moving from shelter to shelter, doing whatever he can to survive. The harshness of the world around him is a constant presence, like an uninvited guest at every corner of his existence. He has seen things no child should see, heard things no child should hear. His life has been one of survival, not luxury. His family's life was torn apart when Malik was very young, and now he survives by looking for food, collecting cans, and doing odd jobs to help those in need. His mother, a woman who tried her best to protect him, disappeared when he was still too young to understand the world. Malik has never known the security of a home, the warmth of a loving family, or the comfort of a constant meal. He learned quickly that survival is a game played with the odds stacked high against you. There are few resources, few people willing to lend a hand, and even fewer who care about what happens to a boy like him. Despite these odds, Malik continues to move forward with a spirit that is unbroken. He dreams of a better life, one in which he is not defined by his circumstances. He imagines a life where he is seen for who he truly is, not just a boy with a hard life, but a boy with potential. His mind often wanders to places he's never been, imagining what it might be like to sleep in a real bed, to have a family that loves him, or even to be part of something bigger than himself. He doesn't know how he'll get there, but he holds on to the hope that somehow, one day, things will change. On one fateful afternoon, while walking near a busy intersection, Malik sees a toddler about to walk directly into the path of a falling street sign. The toddler, oblivious to the danger around him, continues to toddle forward, unaware of the disaster that could strike in a matter of seconds. Malik's heart skips a beat as he spots the sign tilting dangerously. It seems to fall in slow motion, the weight of the moment pressing down on him. His body freezes for a split second, but only for a moment. Without thinking, Malik reacts instantly, his instincts kicking in as he grabs the toddler and pulls him out of harm's way, just in time to avoid a disaster. The sound of the sign crashing to the ground echoes in his ears, but his attention is on the child in his arms. His breath is shallow, his pulse racing, but he's done it. The toddler is safe. And for the first time in Malik's life, he feels a sense of pride, a sense of accomplishment. He didn't hesitate. He didn't stop to think. He acted, and he saved a life. What would you do if you saw someone in danger, knowing you might be the only one to help? Malik holds the toddler in his arms, making sure he's safe after pulling him out of the way of the street sign. The toddler's wide eyes reflect a sense of confusion, but also a touch of curiosity. The small child seems dazed by the abrupt change in direction, and Malik can feel the weight of the responsibility on his young shoulders. He stands there for a moment, trying to catch his breath, his mind racing, not quite able to process what just happened. He was just walking by, minding his own business, when the sound of the sign falling changed everything. But now, in this moment, he knows that he did the right thing. The toddler is safe. And as he looks into the child's eyes, Malik feels a surge of pride. He acted quickly, without thinking, and he saved a life. For the first time, Malik feels like maybe he's more than just a boy struggling to survive. Maybe, just maybe, he's capable of something greater. As Malik reassures the child, he notices a woman in the distance, rushing toward them. She's dressed in high-end clothing, obviously shocked at what just happened. Her heels click against the pavement as she moves with urgency, her face filled with worry. Malik's heart races again, not knowing what to expect. He's never been in a situation like this before, never been in a position where his actions mattered so much. He stands there, holding the child, trying to calm himself as the woman reaches them. She stops short when she sees her son in Malik's arms. Her expression shifts from shock to relief, and then to something deeper. "You saved my son's life," she says, breathless, her voice shaking. Malik can feel her sincerity, and the words wash over him, leaving him both humbled and overwhelmed. For a moment, the world around him seems to blur, and all he can focus on is the woman's gratitude. The rush of emotions, fear, adrenaline, pride, are overwhelming, and Malik struggles to find the words to say. His heart races with a mix of fear and relief, and his body trembles with the after effects of the intense moment. But there is something else inside him, something he's never felt before. He's always been invisible, just another boy on the streets of Chicago. But in this moment, he feels seen. Malik doesn't say much, still catching his breath, but the woman's face softens as she approaches him. She's deeply moved by his bravery. Malik can see the tears welling up in her eyes, and he feels a warmth spread through him. For a second, he wonders if this could be the start of something new for him. If maybe, just maybe, he could be more than what he's always known. He's used to being overlooked, judged by his circumstances. But now, this woman sees him for what he truly is. A hero. She bends down and asks him, "What's your name, little hero?" Malik looks up at her, unsure of how to respond. The words catch in his throat, but he pushes them out, his voice small but proud. "Malik," he finally says, his chest swelling with pride. He's always felt small and insignificant, but in this moment, his name feels bigger than ever before. He's made a difference. He's done something that matters. And for once, Malik doesn't feel like just a boy from the streets. He feels like someone important. The woman smiles, her gratitude evident, and her words, simple but heartfelt, make Malik feel something he's never felt before. Hope. In the background, people start to gather, murmuring and pointing, but Malik's attention is on the toddler and the woman. His actions have changed the course of someone's life today, and even though he didn't expect anything in return, something deep inside him stirs. This is the moment that changes everything. This is the moment that proves he can be more than just a survivor. He can be a hero. Have you ever had to act in a life or death situation? How did you handle it? As the woman gathers her son, she glances at Malik, her eyes narrowing with suspicion. The doubt is clear on her face, and Malik feels the weight of it instantly. Her expression, once full of gratitude, now carries a heavy layer of wariness. He can feel the change in the air, the way her body language shifts as she holds her son tighter, almost protectively. The moment feels different, like the warmth she had shown him was just an illusion, and now the truth of who he is, just a boy from the streets, has come back to haunt him. "Where did you come from? What are you doing in this area?" she asks, her tone now cautious, despite the gratitude she expressed moments before. Her voice holds an edge of skepticism, and Malik is taken aback by the sudden change. She had just thanked him, but now she's questioning him as if he's the one who caused the problem, as if he's somehow not trustworthy just because of where he comes from. Malik, a little confused, doesn't answer right away. The air feels heavy with judgment, and he can feel the difference in the way she looks at him now. The warmth from moments ago has evaporated, leaving him feeling small and misunderstood. He tries to collect his thoughts, but the weight of her gaze makes it hard to speak. He's not sure what to say or how to explain himself. He's just a kid. He didn't mean any harm. He just saw a child in danger and acted. "I was just walking," Malik finally says, trying to explain. "I saw him and ran to help." His voice sounds small, as if the words are not enough to bridge the gap that has suddenly opened between them. His explanation feels weak in comparison to the way she's looking at him now. But it's the truth. He didn't have an ulterior motive. He wasn't there for anything other than to help. He's just a kid trying to do the right thing. The woman doesn't seem fully convinced, but before she can say anything more, her husband appears. He's an affluent businessman, wearing a suit and sunglasses, and he immediately assesses Malik with a critical look. His presence seems to magnify the tension in the air. The woman steps aside, and the man's cold eyes take in the scene, sizing Malik up as if he's the problem. Malik can't help but feel the weight of their judgment. He wasn't expecting praise, but the way they look at him makes him feel like he's being accused of something he hasn't done. "Why would you be in this part of the city, saving my son?" the husband asks, his voice laced with disbelief. His tone cuts through Malik like a sharp knife, and Malik can feel his chest tighten. He didn't expect to be questioned like this, especially after what just happened. The words hang in the air, heavy and harsh. Malik feels the sting of their judgment as if his good deed isn't enough because of his background. His heart sinks a little, and for a moment he wants to disappear, to run away from the scrutiny. He wonders why his actions, something so simple, so human, aren't enough. Why is it that his skin color, his background, seem to matter more than the life he just saved? It's not the first time Malik has felt this way. It's not the first time he's been judged for who he is, for where he comes from. But it doesn't make it hurt any less. He wishes he could explain that he's not a threat, that he's not a criminal, that he's just a kid who wants to help. But he knows that no matter how many times he says it, they might never truly understand. All they see is a boy from the streets, a boy who doesn't belong in their world. Have you ever felt judged by someone who didn't understand your intentions because of your appearance? The following day, Malik is shocked when a luxury car pulls up to his shelter. The car gleams in the sunlight, its sleek lines and polished chrome a stark contrast to the surroundings. Malik blinks in disbelief, unsure whether the car is even meant for him. He watches as the car comes to a stop, the engine purring softly before the door opens. A well-dressed lawyer steps out, his polished shoes clicking against the pavement as he walks toward Malik. The lawyer's crisp suit and confident stride make Malik feel even more out of place, as if he's stepped into a world that doesn't belong to him. The lawyer approaches, and without a word, hands Malik an envelope. It's heavy, the paper thick and professional, a stark difference from the worn cardboard and paper that Malik is used to. The lawyer doesn't say much, just a brief nod, before turning and walking back to the car, leaving Malik standing there with the envelope in hand. Malik hesitates for a moment, confused about what's happening. He tears open the envelope with trembling hands, and inside is a letter. The neat handwriting on the letter is familiar, but he can't quite place it. As he reads, his heart begins to race. The words on the page are like a dream come true. "You saved my son's life yesterday, and I will never forget that," the letter reads. "I want to make sure you never go without again." Malik's eyes widen as he reads the next part. Inside this envelope, You will find a check for $200,000, as well as a voucher for a full scholarship to a prestigious school. He reads the words again, just to be sure. The amount, the scholarship. It feels surreal. A chance to change his life, to escape the streets and build a future for himself. The letter continues, explaining that the reward is for his bravery and selflessness. Malik's heart races as he takes in the enormity of what he's just been given. He has no idea why Mrs. Sinclair is doing this, why she is offering him such a large sum of money and an opportunity like this. He never expected anything in return for his actions. He never expected anyone to see him as anything more than just another boy from the streets. But here it is, a chance, a real chance at a better life. He's just a kid, but for the first time, he's feeling like he's worth something. The money and the scholarship, those are just the physical manifestations of a much bigger change, a change in the way Malik sees himself and the world around him. This money is yours, Malik. The letter continues. I want you to have a chance at a better future. My husband and I want to see you thrive, not just survive. The words echo in Malik's mind as he stands there, holding the letter tightly in his hands. His mind races, trying to process everything that's happening. How could someone like Mrs. Sinclair, someone with wealth and privilege, offer him something like this? Why him? The doubts creep in, but as he reads the letter again, he realizes that she believes in him. She's offering him a chance, not just out of pity, but out of the belief that he can make something of himself. She's seen his actions, his courage, and she wants to help him reach his potential. For Malik, that's something he's never felt before. Someone believing in him, not for what he could do for them, but for who he is. The letter concludes, we want you to have a future, Malik, a chance at something better. This is my way of saying thank you, and I hope you make the most of it. As Malik stands there, staring at the letter, his emotions are a mix of disbelief, gratitude, and fear. He doesn't know what the future holds, but for the first time in his life he feels like he might actually have a future worth fighting for. The weight of the decision ahead of him is heavy. He can't imagine what life might look like if he accepts this reward, but he knows one thing for sure. It's a step toward something better. And maybe, just maybe, it's the beginning of the life he's always dreamed of. Word spreads fast, and the community reacts. Some congratulate Malik, but many others question his sudden fortune. How did he get that money? One neighbor whispers, "What's the catch?" Malik starts to feel the weight of their stares, their eyes following him wherever he goes. Some people offer congratulations, but there's a noticeable tension in the air. For the first time, Malik feels like he's standing under a microscope, being analyzed by everyone around him. The whispers are too loud, and the judgment in their voices stings. He never expected such a windfall, especially not from a stranger like Mrs. Sinclair, but he never thought his good deed would come with this much scrutiny. Even Malik's own family is unsure of what to make of it. "Son, don't trust them," his mother warns. "They're giving you this money for a reason." Her voice is filled with concern, her protective instincts kicking in. She's seen too many people in the world take advantage of good-hearted individuals, and she doesn't want Malik to fall into that trap. The caution in her voice is clear, and Malik feels the weight of her worry. He knows his mother is just trying to protect him, but he can't help but wonder if the opportunity is genuine. Malik starts feeling conflicted. Is it really a gift? Or is there something more they want from him? The more he thinks about it, the more the questions pile up in his mind. Why would Mrs. Sinclair, someone with wealth and privilege, give him, a homeless boy, so much money? What do they want in return? It doesn't make sense. He can't help but wonder if there's some kind of catch. He has always been taught to be cautious, to look for hidden agendas, and he can't shake the feeling that something is off. But despite the doubts, the overwhelming sense of gratitude he feels for what Mrs. Sinclair has done for him keeps him grounded. He can't deny that the money and the scholarship are life-changing. He never thought he would have a chance like this, never imagined that his actions would lead to such an incredible opportunity. He's always dreamed of something better, but he never imagined it would come so suddenly. And now, it's all in front of him. He can choose to walk away from it all, but the thought of doing that feels impossible. This is his chance to change everything, to create a better life for himself and his family. Despite the doubts, Malik decides to use the money wisely, knowing that this could be the opportunity of a lifetime. He doesn't know what the future holds, but he's not going to let fear and suspicion dictate his choices. He can't afford to let this chance slip away. For once, he wants to take control of his future, to create a life for himself that's different from the one he's known. The money, the scholarship, those are just tools. What matters now is what he does with them. Malik knows that with hard work and determination, he can make something of himself, even if others don't believe in him. Do you think people are more likely to question someone's success if they come from an underserved background? Why? Malik uses the money to further his education and build a better life for himself. He enrolls in a prestigious school, determined to make the most of the opportunity he's been given. The scholarship and the funds he received open doors that he never imagined possible. He studies hard, applying himself in ways he never thought he could, knowing that this could be his only shot at changing his life. The world that once seemed so distant, so out of reach, is now within his grasp. He works tirelessly, dedicating himself to his education, knowing that with every passing day, he's one step closer to his dreams. But Malik doesn't stop there. He knows that his success is not just about him. He remembers the struggles of his past, the days spent on the streets, the uncertainty, and the hopelessness. He remembers the kids who were just like him, who never had the chance to escape the cycle of poverty. Malik decides to use part of the money he received to give back to his community. He starts a program to help other young people in his neighborhood who are struggling, giving them the same opportunity he was given. He believes in the power of education and wants to ensure that the next generation has a chance to break free from the same circumstances that held him back. Malik's program offers scholarships, mentorship, and support for kids who have the potential to achieve great things, but who lack the resources and opportunities. He partners with local schools, businesses, and organizations to create a network of support for these kids, showing them that there is more to life than what they see in their immediate surroundings. Malik's story becomes an inspiration to others, proving that one act of courage can create a ripple effect that changes everything. His journey is a testament to the power of selflessness, determination, and the belief that anyone, no matter their background, can succeed if given the right opportunity. As Malik grows older, his story is told time and time again, inspiring others to take action in their own lives. He becomes a role model for kids in his community, showing them that no dream is too big and no obstacle is too great. Malik's transformation from a homeless boy to a successful entrepreneur and community leader, serves as a reminder that anyone, regardless of their past, can change their future. The Sinclairs watch with pride as Malik rises to success, knowing that their decision to reward him was more than just financial. It was about giving him a chance to prove what he could achieve. Malik's journey has only just begun, but one thing is clear. He is changing the world, one person at a time. His story will continue to inspire generations to come, proving that kindness, education, and opportunity can truly make a difference. And as Malik looks toward the future, he knows that the best is yet to come. Years later, Malik stands before a crowd, sharing his story with young people who remind him of his past self. The auditorium is filled with the eager faces of those who are just beginning their own journeys, and Malik feels a deep sense of connection with them. He looks out at the sea of young faces, knowing that they are just like he was, a kid with big dreams, but no clear path to get there. His heart swells with pride as he stands there, knowing that his story can be a beacon of hope for them. "I never thought a moment like that could change my life, but it did," he says, his voice full of emotion. His words resonate with the crowd, each one a reminder of how one single decision, one single act of kindness can alter the course of someone's life. He thinks back to that fateful day when he saved the toddler's life, never imagining that moment would set off a chain of events that would lead him to where he is now. He never thought he would be standing in front of a crowd like this, sharing his story, inspiring others. He thought his life would always be the same, a struggle to survive. But now, he's more than just a survivor. He's a symbol of what's possible when someone takes a chance on themselves. The crowd erupts in applause, inspired by Malik's resilience and the lessons he's learned about kindness, bravery, and taking chances. The sound of their applause fills the room, and Malik can feel the energy shift. It's not just about him anymore. It's about all of them, too. His story has sparked something in the audience, a spark that will ignite a fire of change in their own lives. Malik knows that the true impact of his story is not just in the applause he receives, but in the way it will inspire others to take action. He has proven that no matter where you start, you can make a difference, and that belief will carry forward long after he steps off the stage. As Malik walks off the stage, he smiles, knowing that his life is now part of a larger story, a story of change and hope. He feels the weight of his journey, all the challenges, the doubts, the struggles, but he also feels a deep sense of fulfillment. He's not just changing his life anymore. He's changing lives all around him. He sees a future where kids like him don't have to struggle alone, where they have the support and opportunities they need to succeed. And in that moment, Malik knows that he's a part of something much bigger than himself. His life is no longer defined by the struggles of his past, but by the impact he's making in the world. The applause slowly fades, but the energy in the room remains. Malik knows that the ripple effect of his story will continue long after the event ends. The seeds of change have been planted, and now it's up to the next generation to nurture them. As he exits the stage, Malik takes a deep breath, grateful for how far he has come. He looks at the faces of the young people in the crowd, seeing their potential, and he knows that they, too, will rise above their circumstances. Their future is bright, and Malik's heart is full, knowing that he played a part in that. As Malik walks off the stage, he smiles, knowing that his life is now part of a larger story, a story of change and hope, a story that will live on in the hearts of those who were inspired by his journey.